Welcome back to Ferocious Education. This is Ed. Today I'm going to be talking about ATNM. Make sure to drop a like to this video to help this channel grow. Subscribe and leave your notifications on to get the latest added videos. Without further ado, I'm going to go on through technical analysis, recent news, and how I'm going to be playing this stock, as well as the future of this stock in terms of where I think it's going to be going. And make sure to watch the other video if you would like to learn more about it. It's in the description on my previous DD. So, first things first. Of course, it did receive a bit of a dip there, and what you get to see is it was in the trading action zone. I saw a reversal somewhere around there. I believe my video was somewhere around this region where I was mentioning in a warning about volumes dying down. Volumes did pick up, but for the wrong reasons. You get to see that there was a reversal that it was met, but the price right now is below the trading action zone. It's hitting with the 50 SMA, almost getting in right below it, so that's a little bit of a dangerous sign. It's above the 200 SMA, that's still bullish, but the moving averages continue to look more bearish by the day. Average directional index is dipping down quite quickly, so that's showing in a little bit more sloppy. William percent R puts it at oversold, and momentum seems to have lost almost all kinds of momentum it has built up almost ever, and then it kind of recovered just a little bit, but still way below where we want it to be. MACD is increasingly going negative, and that's a little bit dangerous, and the unbalanced volume is rapidly declining. Now, moving on towards the 1 hour perspective, what we get to see here is a little bit off the same news. We get to see that the moving averages here seem under the 200 SMA, so that's bearish. Under the 50 SMA, that is bearish. 30 EMA is above the 10 SMA, so that as well as bearish, and the stock price is under the VWAP. It did drop after hours to 0.36, the lowest it has seen for a while, and did recover just a little bit down to 0.39. What we get to see here on the average directional index still shows in sloppy. ADX is sitting in a neutral, and momentum seems to have recovered a little bit from the day before. MACD looks a little bit sloppy, ups and downs. Looks like it might actually see a negative reversal on Monday, and volumes are a little bit choppy. Now, moving on towards the moving average, the stock price is under the moving average band here in cyan and purple in the middle. You might see it a little bit recover as we expect it to hover in between the moving average, but you need to check on the news as well and see what the catalysts coming are. This is the last trend line I drew, and I did mention that there's a secondary trend line that formed over here, and this was the previous one. And in case as soon as it drops that kind of price, make sure to sell it. And it did actually drop. So as soon as it hit 0.51, it continued to dipping, and it did actually see a little bit of a loss there. It almost erased the entire rally it did have. So now, before moving on quickly towards Fibonacci retracements, we're gonna go on quickly and check when its earnings are. So what we want to see is what kind of catalysts are coming in soon. So looking into it here. So just quickly before we move forward, going on towards earnings. Right here, ATNM. This go. And we get to see that the earnings are on the 18th of August after market. It's not confirmed yet, so you expect another PR confirming that. So now going on towards Fibonacci retracements quickly in order to determine the supports and resistances, and we get to see that the current support is far off from the current price. The current resistance sitting in 0.41. Current support would be all the way back here. You're looking at somewhere around the 0.38 mark, and then following that is the 0.37 mark, and then the 0.36 mark. Then we're looking at the 0.35 mark, and then we're seeing an almost 0.34, 0.33. Current resistance is sitting in at 0.41. And then a little bit around, very much closer to the 0.42, and then we're seeing it on the 0.43, 0.44, and it's almost every cent up. But it hits 0.46, and then it jumps up to 0.47, and then you're seeing a little bit upside, 0.48. So once it hits really the 0.40, say the 0.45, 0.46 mark, there's a lot of uptrend to go. Now, I'm gonna do something quickly here. I'm going to try to get the 160 up here. It still shows 0.44 resistance, so that's fine. So what we're going to do now is we're going to move on towards the latest news in order to see what kind of trends we're looking at next. So a little bit of more investments from institutional buyers happened on, well, not today, yesterday, around 6,300 shares. These folks did the day before around 4,000 shares and 23,000 shares a week ago. Now, in terms of the latest news that got the stock to dip quite a bit is one, the reverse split. So this one here is relating to the reverse split, and I believe the ratio was let's double check here quickly. This is reverse split to gain compliance within 30 days, and it has until October 29th, 2020. Reverse split not more than 175, so it's not 175. It's probably going to be something where if the price right now is sitting in around 0.39, it's probably 1 to 5, 1 to 6. Nonetheless, the reverse split would hurt the price quite a bit. And so basically prior to December 18th, 2020 is where it has to maintain that ratio, that kind of price. Now, moving on forward before we move there, so they do have a bit of stocks available, but they actually are hinting in on an offering coming. Whether that offering is coming in soon or later on, that is not for us to determine. But basically, what it is, the registration statement contains it's basically two things they're containing: a base, which covers basically an issuance and sales of up to $500 million of our common stock, preferred stocks, warrants, and units or subscription rights. Issuance and sale by us for up to a maximum aggregate offering price of $200 million for common stocks. So what does that say? It does usually we get to see these kind of forms when a company is thinking about offering, but really it doesn't just show you that they are definitely going to do an offering. So this could be somewhere where it's Monday, it could be at 8 p.m. today, it could be somewhere on Monday morning, could be next month or in a few months. But basically, that is a massive risk you would think about. Now, Ed, all right, well, maybe they would do an offering, right? Well, what if they do an offer? What price would you think that offering is? Well, usually it does look at the last trading day. So the offering was going on Monday. Last trading day closed in somewhere around, let's say, 0.38. Then the offering would probably be something like 0.35. It really is dependent, but you wouldn't expect it to be higher than the price. So it's definitely you want to sell before that offering. But let's say the offering doesn't come on Monday. You might see it run out of PR. They release a PR to try to increase that price back again and then to hit you with an offering. Some companies do that. So what is my play right now? I want to wait and see what happens with this stock. I wouldn't kind of buy it right now just because there's a lot of risk to it. Now, the upside looks amazing for this. So if this hits an offering, I'm jumping in right away. No questions asked. I did a DD on it before, and I like this company. Now, what if there's no offering? Should I hold? Now, that is a really judgment call that you'd have to make, but the risk towards holding is a lot higher than the rewards. We already know there's panic selling and whatnot. I would consider selling not in extended market, perhaps right at the start, but usually offerings hit somewhere around 9 a.m., 8 a.m., so there's a little bit of a danger there. It's a little bit hard to say, but if I was you, I would definitely sell, try to cut my losses, and then buy them again whenever that offering is in the future to try to recoup my losses. If your average is, if you're currently green, I would consider selling. But I'm not saying selling this for good. I'm saying just until if an offering in the future comes in. Now, it definitely is quote-unquote shelf offering, but usually companies like this, where it's penny stocks, they use their shelf offering. What do you think about this sticker? Make sure you mention down in the comments below. Share, subscribe, and like, and you have a wonderful day.